just like the families are going to be the experts in what their whole unit needs. So there's a lot of different aspects, and then teaching them how to do it respectfully, appropriately, to get their message across without, having a hard time.
It's important. It's
Yes.
for any kids, that age, certainly,
Right.
but especially if you got some other stuff going on as well, right? And then restorative. Who wants to take restorative?
Want me to take restorative? Okay. So we focus a lot on the restorative as far as making sure the connection and the empowerment component is in place. We take the idea and run with it that a kiddo who is empowered and has a good connection either with our staff or at home are more likely to be successful. And we go in a great deal of training with our staff to make sure that they understand kind of how to do that. We use a PACE model, so it's playful, acceptance, curiosity, and empathy, and our staff should be using those to kind of approach some of the harder topics to support the kiddos and make sure that they do have their voice heard.
That's great. That's great. And then strength-based.
That would be me again.
That's all right.
So strength-based is right from the get-go, we want to know what strengths the kids possess, because we don't want the kids to look at themselves through a deficit. We don't want the staff to look at the kids from a deficit. It's something that maybe you want to improve on or do better at. So it's also about being honest and keeping the opinions out. So if a kid gets down on themselves, we want to make sure staff already have in the back of their head what they're good at, so we can focus on that and then build up the areas that they might be weaker at, as opposed to being, a deficit. So the big thing is just focusing on the strengths, building on the other areas, and making sure that staff document also in a strength-based way. The kids aren't going to be perfect, but it needs to be factual, and where can we help them, as opposed to just being like, I don't know where to go. Nope, we all know where to go. We just all need to work together and build them up.
Right.
So.
That's great. And then family-driven.
So that Mindy started talking a little bit about that. The family knows what is needed the best. They know what they need to be successful when the kid returns home. So making sure they are the driving force in that component of that, and making sure that what they need is known to us as well. So we're able to greatly support them in both areas. But they know the kids sometimes better than we do. We just met them. So they know what has worked, what hasn't, and listening to the family and making sure that they have a say in the treatment plan, have a say in when they come home. Doesn't mean it's always going to be exactly how they want it. They have to have some skill building themselves. But for the most part, they know their family best, and we have to listen to that.
So during that intake process, families particularly that we're talking about, what are the questions that always come up that families have that we could answer now, at least, to kind of get ahead of that?
Their actual participation always comes up. Coming from a higher level of care, usually it's visits, and that's the most they're involved. We want them involved in the treatment plan. We want them involved in the admission process. It's their kid. We don't take any guardianship of them. It is always their child. So they are informed at every part of the decision making. Whether or not we're able to follow through everything they want, that's kind of falls on the program and how we can accommodate that. But their voice needs to be heard in every aspect of it, and we try to kind of run with that. But their involvement is greatly there. We say 6 to 9 months, depending on when the kid is admitted. They're going home, so they need to be involved a lot more than I think with a higher level of care where they could be there 2 years.
Right.
And they're involved in the intake, and that sense tends to be a little bit of they're not sure what the next phase is going to be, so we're able to ask a lot of questions during that, and we're able to go through. They probably are going home on the weekends. We'll drop them off to you Friday afternoon, and they're with you. Use it as a practice. Use it as however you need the support, and we continue to support them if needed on the weekends, but their participation is needed. It's not just kind of sending your kid to another treatment. They're involved as much as possible.
I know we've looked for different ways to try to bring the families into Aurora House as well. You were talking about, when I was touring earlier, the parties and different activities, right, to try to get the families out.
So we do baseball games with the families. They're invited if we get enough tickets donated. Mindy does seasonal parties, so if they have a fall fest and they come in, and we did painting of the pumpkins the last year. So we try to keep them involved in any big events as well.
That's great. Any success stories you can call to mind, Minnie in particular? Anything that kind of talk about what Aurora House does for
We've
individuals?
had actually one of our last kids had gotten accepted to many colleges, and then that was the big decision where they were going to go.
Sure.
So that was awesome. They also went all the way out to New York City and auditioned for college out there because they were in the arts. And we are happy to report he did call and he did accept one of the colleges and is working on that. So we've had a couple throughout the years who've gone to college, so that was very exciting. We have a couple kids that have gotten jobs and still have the jobs call in, even though we had a kid that was only here with us a month, called in to just tell us about their successes. So even in that short amount of time, staff are planting seeds and building relationships that the kids are comfortable to call back and say, hey, this is what I got going on. One of the biggest ones I could say probably was last year, a lot of family conflict. And it was a great transition home. The youth got a job before they went home. A lot of family work took place because there was some family dynamics, and they put the work in, and the whole family blossomed. Even the siblings that were at conflict, because all the components were working and everybody was working together, the whole unit improved.
That's fantastic.
So.
Yep, that's good. That's what gets you through the hard days, right?
Yes.
To
Yes.
remember those. So if families are out there or somebody is looking for more information or may have an interest in coming out and stuff, what should they do? How to contact?
So they can call us at Aurora House. Information should be on our website to get a hold of us. We can walk them through the process, as well as reaching out to your mental health providers. If your kiddo is looking at this step, most likely you're seeing a counselor, and they're going to be crucial in helping apply through CSPOA because they need all of the hospitalizations, they need all the medical records, and the counselors should be able to support them to do that. Some of the local counselors are familiar with us, so I would start having those conversations with them, as well as feel free to reach out to me or Kim.
Okay, wonderful. So that's the one side. Certainly we need kids to come to
Yes.
operate Aurora House. We also need staff. So let's talk about staffing. What are we looking for, first off, for staffing right now at Aurora House?
Primarily, I would say overnights and team leaders. A team lead.
So for those, what are we looking for? Who makes sense that will do well in those kind of roles?
Overnights, I need you to stay awake. And,
That's a big one. Yeah.
but you have to be patient. You have to be willing to learn the material. You have to be wanting to be there for the right reasons, and that's the kids overall. If you're there for the right reasons, we can teach you the pillars of the program. We can teach you how to write strength-based and think family-focused and restoratively. But you have to be there for the right reasons, and it's to help the kids and make sure that they are safe in every environment. Team leader does require a little bit more education than, say, overnights. Those would be helping me and Kim write service plans, figuring out where the kid needs support. So I believe, minimally require an associate's, maybe a bachelor's encouraged, with better writing skills. Did I miss anything?
I guess what I would add to any of the positions is having some kind of knowledge, whether it be some education, children, siblings, friends that you've worked with, just so you kind of have a little working knowledge, because it can get overwhelming if you don't have some basic framework to come in fresh and have nothing. And we don't want people to come in and feel overwhelmed and leave, because we want you to be dedicated, again, to the kids, learning new skills. So I would just encourage people to apply that have some kind of working knowledge of mental health or some personal experience, but don't be afraid to call. Come out and see the program. We can give even potential staff a tour and more information, and there is a video online to see more of the program, but sometimes it can be a little worrisome that people apply and then they don't realize what they're applying to. So come and ask questions. Go to any job fair the community missions might be asked. Any of the staff can give you some stories and stuff. So
Well, you mentioned what are some of those, certainly the background, some kind of experience or something, just to open your eyes a little bit, but then patient, willing to learn. Anything else along those lines that you'd want to really focus on?
be engaging. Like it's not a job where you are going to come in and sit down and be behind a computer or a book all day. Most of your time, because most of the positions, other than overnights, most of the time they're sleeping, but the team leaders, youth care workers, it's while the kids are awake up until midnight. So you will, whenever they're awake, you are going to be hands-on. Crafts, teaching them skills, going for walks, those kind of things. So I guess having the energy level, the interest, you might have a dance party, you might have a charades day, you might have a cook-off and you're all cooking cookies or whatever, but it's not a job where you're going to be sitting until they go to bed. So being motivated, being energetic,
willing
little
to
pep
make
in
the
your step.
connection. Agreed. Willing to make the connection that I think is very important for the restorative approach. That engagement and that connection makes it so the kids feel welcomed and able to grow and learn the skills. So if you're someone that isn't going to put that work in and isn't willing to make that connection and engagement, it's probably not the best fit for you.
What was the PACE acronym?
Playful acceptance, curiosity, and empathy.
Okay, all right. So I would think that's a pretty good guide as well for what we're looking for there. Well, thank you all so much. This has been great to get reacquainted here with Aurora House. Plenty of opportunities out there for staff that are looking to maybe make a career change or do something maybe more rewarding, fulfilling. Like many of the jobs across community missions, no 2 days are the same. We hear that. And if you're looking for something that is not monotonous and really want to make some long-lasting connections and things, Aurora House may be the right fit for you for certain. Well, want to go back over a few different dates that we have coming up at Community Missions. So we'll go chronologically. Our giveaway days will be August 27th and 28th, Wednesday and Thursday. During the day, I believe the times are roughly 11:30 to 1:30 or so. We'll be giving away clothes and household items. We'll be giving away school supplies, backpacks, all kinds of great stuff. We're going to have, it'll be a big party basically. We'll have barbers there as well, maybe some other fun things. We'll be cooking out in the field right next door to our main site on Buffalo Avenue. So we hope that you'll come out for one or both of those days, certainly. And then a few days later, back at our same site, 1570 Buffalo Avenue, is our End Overdose rally that our Niagara Path team will be putting on. So certainly stay tuned to our social media pages for more information about that. We'll be holding our annual meat raffle at the Socorro Post in North Tonawanda on Saturday, October 4th. And then also earlier that day, I failed to mention earlier, we'll be doing our annual pet blessing on that day. So bring out your dogs, cats. I've heard in the past of snakes. We have not had any snakes come out, thankfully, in my eyes, at least for that. But you can bring out, we've had bunnies, we've had dogs, we've had horses, we've had all kinds. So certainly that's a fun time, about 10 a.m. At our main site, 1570 Buffalo Avenue on October 4th. And then also the last one that we'll mention for now will be our 100th anniversary gala, and that will be held at the Sheraton down in Niagara Falls on Friday night, November 14th. So we hope that you'll join us to help us celebrate 100 years of serving the Niagara community. And thank you so much for watching Community Link today and learning a little bit more about our Aurora House program and all the different programs that we offer at Community Missions. We'll talk to you next time.